Australians may soon have to get a third dose to be considered fully vaccinated as an expert task force weighs the evidence on Omicron's ability to evade vaccines. But is there enough supply to go round? Joining me is the National President at the Pharmacy Guild of Australia, Trent Twomey. Trent, thank you for joining me today. Has supply of booster shots ramped up?
So we were caught off guard a week ago when the government reduced the interval for boosters from 6 months down to 5. So we had outages all around the country last week. But there is enough vaccine in the Commonwealth Government's program. It just was all in the wrong places. So it was in warehouses instead of in GP surgeries, and in warehouses instead of in pharmacies. But the real big problem that we have, the threat to the success of the booster program, the threat to the success of the childhood program is not stock. It's the number of points of presence. We're seeing pharmacies opt out of the program. We're seeing GP surgeries opt out of the program. And this is a direct result of the Commonwealth Government cutting the funding available to GPs and pharmacies to deliver the booster shot relative to the primary dose shot. So we just don't understand why, when states and territories are decommissioning, as they should, their state and territory mass vaccination hubs, why the Commonwealth Government isn't doing everything within its power to encourage more GP surgeries and more pharmacies to participate in the program.
So in the event that National Cabinet does agree to cut the wait time between the second and third dose, say to 3 to 4 months, is there enough? Can people go to their local pharmacy and receive that straight away?
So you can go to findapharmacy.com.au and you can make a booking now. Some pharmacies do take walk-ins, just like some GP surgeries do take walk-ins. But let me be crystal clear. We cannot reduce the schedule for or the interval for the booster program and roll out the childhood program unless we increase the points of presence. We can only have a successful booster program, a successful childhood program, if we have more pharmacies and more GPs participating. And that is only going to happen if the Commonwealth Government reverses the cuts that they've done to pharmacies and GPs.
I want to ask you about rapid antigen testing. There's certainly a huge focus now, particularly during this festive period. Is there enough RAT tests to last over the next few weeks?
So I had a conversation with the major manufacturers, and of course they're resellers in Australia, right? Because these things are made overseas. And I had a conversation with the 3 main pharmaceutical wholesalers. They assure us that based on the current demand, even the increased demand that we've seen in the past week, that they will have enough to last us the festive season before new shipments arrive in the new year. The problem is much the same with rapid antigen tests as it was with the booster shots that I said before. There was an unpredicted surge and there's a maldistribution of stock. So most of the stock arrives on pallets and shipping containers into Melbourne. It then goes out to New South Wales, Queensland and the rest of the country. So the reason we've seen shortages in New South Wales and Queensland that we didn't see in Victoria is simply because those secondary warehouses ran out and there was a delay in replenishing them from Victoria.
Do you think that RAT tests should be free of charge?
So we've seen this rapid antigen test subsidised just like the PCR tests in other OECD developed countries, and it's working. So this is definitely something that we should be considering here in Australia because, yes, it's a couple percentage points less accurate. We're talking only about a few percentage points, right? So they're both still extremely accurate, but you get a result within 15 minutes. Now, my wife and my kids and I was working down in my Canberra office in the last couple of weeks. I had to come back into Queensland, which means I had to get that PCR test 72 hours before and 5 days after. It took 2 and 3 days, respectively, for me to get those results back. Whereas I was using rapid antigen tests because I've been working in my pharmacies over the past week and I got results within 15 minutes. So, we have to have both available and both of them should be funded.
Trent Twomey, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure. Have a great day.